Welcome to Flash Tutorial Halloween Scene Part 2, which is a follow-up to Part 1, and I have that FLA open now. I have selected frame 3 of the Crypt layer, highlighting that drawing I made, modify, convert it to a symbol, a movie clip, and call it Crypt, C-R-Y-P-T, Shift_MC, and I'm going to copy that. Open the properties panel while it's selected and paste in that for the instance name. Double click on this, and now we're inside this movie clip Crypt. To save time, I'm pasting in all the layers for this movie clip. We'll go through these quickly. There's many frames inside of this. We'll hide them all first. We'll start with this first one. This is the Crypt that we just made, and when we brought it on inside this movie clip, it was approximately this size. You can change the size, that's up to you. And I'm on frame 63 where this frame is inserted, and then I went back to here. I unlocked my frame and I made my Crypt very small, and then I did a tween so that it gets bigger. Okay. Then what I did, went to the next layer, and I made a door. So I clicked here, unlocked that layer, made the stage very large so I could see my door, make my Crypt visible, and I drew a door that fit inside this Crypt. I went up to this frame here, frame 8, and I moved the door back. And how I did that was I used my free transform tool, and I put the dot over on this side. Well, let's just show you this real quick. Go here, pick up your rectangle tool, and make a rectangle. Then I went to this frame and I inserted a keyframe. I picked up my free transform tool, highlighted, I moved this dot over here. Now naturally I'm talking about this door that I was making, and then I did that. So that gives it when you do the tween, it looks like it's opening. Okay, so if I look at that, it opens there as it gets bigger, so it has to be made to fit. Then I got another keyframe right here, which again I squished it to make it look like it's almost open. This is frame 17. Then I did one here which actually makes the door looks like it's going back further, and one here which brings the door back further. Each these keyframes, you have to resize the door and open it up, and when it gets here, that's the full size of the door. Back to frame 1. Okay, let me just finish that off. That was on frame 63, and then I just went all the way up to frame 115, and on those two layers inserted the keyframe. So the door sits open for a while on those frames. I'm going to lock that layer. This one is nothing, I believe. No, nothing on it anymore. This was my sound. I'm going to eventually put sound on it, but I don't want it on now because it drives me crazy. Interior light. That's this frame right here. It starts at frame 74, and it's a little bit of light that as it goes gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And how I did that real quickly, I made a rectangle and shaped the arch on the top to fit the size of the door. I'll make this rectangle on the side and show you how I made the light. And there's that rectangle. I highlighted it. I opened the paint palette. I selected the radial gradient. I put the white there and the black here. And if you haven't got white, you just double click on it and pick white up. Double click on this and pick the black up. And get it so that the black it's small like that. And then I picked up the what's called the gradient tool here and pulled that down like that. And I hit something like that because then I could expand it this way or expand it that way, whichever you want. Okay, so that's how I did it. And I turned it into a graphic, and by turning it into a graphic I could then go and open the color panel or the panel and make the alpha here 0 so you can't see it, and as it gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter, and there the alpha is 100. And I put a keyframe on 115 for that. Internal cross. That starts at frame 74, the same place as the light starts. And all I did was you can see I'll hide everything except the cross. There it is. That's all it is a cross. There's no effects on this. It doesn't. You don't see it until it's full size, so there's nothing changing. Okay. And bring that up to here. And I just recolored that a little bit because of the light on it. You could actually carry this frame here all the way up to here if you wanted and just have one keyframe. That's up to you. Okay, whichever way you want to do it. And the last thing was directions, and they start on frame 81. Now let's put this down to fits all, and let's show everything. And I have two text boxes here. This one says, let's unlock it, start working on the puzzles. And this one says the first few are easy. And if I open up here, that's that same thing, that Lucida color graphic, white color, but it's only 8 points. It's only 8 points. And let's lock that layer. Let's insert a new layer at the very top. Call it Action Script, AS, and put a blank keyframe on frame 115. And open the action panel. Just forget what's here for a minute, because when I originally did this, I did this with Action Script 2, so my code has, so you forget that. I'm going to try to do it without an on-frame enter. Movie clip, bracket, root, close bracket, period, go to and stop frame. And we're going to go to a frame, the next frame, which is frame 4, and it's called BATS. So quotation, B-A-T-S, close quotation. That's what you're going to put here. And copy that word BATS. Copy. And I think we should put a stop in here. S-T-O-P, open close bracket, semicolon. Go back to scene 1, and this layer right here, insert a blank keyframe, open your properties panel, and we're going to give that name BATS. Let's put a blank keyframe here in this action script for a minute. Blank keyframe. And let's put a stop here. S-T-O-P, open, close, semicolon. Now let's see how many errors we have. Test this out. No errors. There's my instructions. There's more instructions. There's the crypt and the door opening. Now, I think that should be a little bigger. So I'll probably make that a little bigger. Open the library for a minute, and this movie clip fussy. Double click on it. There's the fussy. Go up to about frame 5, insert a keyframe. Frame 6, insert a blank keyframe. Frame 10, insert a blank keyframe. So now that when we test that, that'll turn on and off, on and off, on and off. Let's go back to scene 1. Just above the intro here, select fussy, insert a layer, lock all the layers except that new layer, and on frame 4, insert a blank keyframe, and you're going to draw a sky, and you're going to take that sky all the way up to and including frame 10. And just to fit window, there's my sky. I'm just going to select it here for a second, and if I open the color panel, you can see I did that with a linear gradient. Okay, I have black, and then I have a crazy orangey brown, and then another light gray. That's how you want to make that. Lock that sky layer, insert a layer above it, call it ground. Select frame 4, insert a blank keyframe, and you're going to draw some ground. And there's my ground. Just a hill with my background. You're going to make sure all your frames are locked. Select the ground layer, insert a layer, and call this Crypt. C-R-Y-P-T P-U-Z-Z, as in when we're doing the puzzle. And on frame 4, you're going to put a blank keyframe, and here you're going to pick up the graphic of your crypt, just the graphic of the crypt, the drawing. If you have a graphic in the library, you can use that. If not, follow these directions. And how you would get that is you would go into your Crypt movie and make sure the only thing that is unlocked is the Crypt itself, and you would double click on that, make it 800, double click on it, and when you got it highlighted, right click, copy it, and paste it on the stage with frame 4 selected. And there's my Crypt down here on my property. I think that's enough for this tutorial. If you plan on doing the next part, part 3, make sure you save this FLA. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.